Hello gold makers. Welcome to our video about the operations in Trade Skill Master. So today we will be looking at we'll be taking a closer look at the operations. So far in our videos we've looked at the creation of groups inside of Trade Skill Master. And we've used the websites Wowhead and the Undermine Journal to help us in that process. In their examples, we used the category herbs to split up all the herbs inside of World of Warcraft into their pigments, which was, from as a suggestion to organize the herbs. Obviously, you can organize them however you want. But now that we have this group, how do we make this useful for us at the auction house? Well, this is where operations come in. So groups can just be seen as ways of organizing all of the items inside your bags, so that you're not individually going to the auction house and trying to find a price for them. And operations is basically how you tell TSM, okay, well now with these groups, what do you want to do with them? How do you want to price them? How many do you want to put on the auction house? And it automates this process for you. So that's the usefulness of operations. It's really how you tell TSM what you want to do with these wonderful groups that you've made up inside of TSM. So how do you get to operations? Well, if you look at the group icon right here, right beside it is the operations, and that's the usefulness of TSM. If you highlight these little tabs up here, you can actually see what they are. So if you click on it, you get to this, operations. First thing you should note is there is a help tab for operations, and we are not going to be looking at all the different aspects of operations. It would make this video way too long. What we're going to focus on is really some basic operations to give you a heads up, and I invite you to, and I might make another video to get a little bit more into certain specific aspects of operations, but at least in this video you'll be able to start setting some up. So operations can be seen, and often when I've heard videos talk about them, they can be seen as what you're in the instructions you're telling Trade Skill Master how to post your items. So there's a few types of operations. The auctioning one, as you can say here, they've separated them into individual tabs, and they manage different parts of how you're going to be posting, or how you're going to be using these operations, these rules. The auctioning one is really the most important one, I guess, most important one for the time being, because this is really what you're telling Trade Skill Master, take these groups and this is how I want them posted and for how much I want them posted on in the auction house. So as you can see here in this example, I have on this character here, who happens to be my alliance goldmaker, we have some operations here, and they're listed, they're being given titles based on how helpful it is for me to have these operations. But auctioning, basically, if you click on auctioning, you'll see right away that you have a general tab. This is just a very general what do you want to do with these types of operations for auctioning. The post tab is really where you're going to be spending the most of your time when you're trying to create operations. So the three main areas in this particular auctioning post tab is obviously the duration that you want this particular operation to, the duration that you want this group of items to be posted for. And then you have here the stack size and the post cap, so how many maximum groups of items you want to be posted on the auction house and the stack size for them. And then at the bottom here is really the last little part that is going to be the most important, is the pricing. So we talked a little bit about it in another video where there's different pricing options in TSM. As you can see here, for this particular operation, we have a percentage of the crafting cost used as the pricing model for this particular operation. What this means is that here, and this is the usefulness for the reason why we have these three boxes here, the minimum price is the lowest price you want to have the item be posted for. So you're not going to post it, or you're going to give a different instruction basically if the items that are already on the auction house are below this price. So you do not want, as an example, if I'm crafting something costing me 100 gold, well, I don't want it posted for under 100 gold, or else I'm not making money. I'm losing money. So that's what this means. And right beside it here, it's what happens. Okay, well, if this item is below, on the auction houses right now at 95 gold, well, what do you want to do? You have a few instructions. You can tell TSM don't post the item at all, or post it at a different price. Either your normal price or your maximum price, because usually that's going to be higher. So yes, you're not going to be the first item on the board, but it might be helpful for the other gold makers to see that maybe they're undervaluing this item. The maximum price is at think of this as the maximum that you want your item to be sold for. Whatever value you've assigned to this particular item, it could be based on your history selling this item, could be based on information about the item. Remember, if I pop up my bags here, when you highlight an item, you have a whole bunch of information, accounting information, auction information, global market information. So some of this maximum price might be based on that. You might be saying, okay, well, if the global market value is at gold 36, maybe that's the maximum I want to sell my item to. Maybe. Remember that global market is not necessarily the right price. If you sell items in your particular server for 50 gold and the global market's saying only at gold, well, maybe there's, it's not taking into account everything. So just be aware of that. And again, if once you see an item that is at maximum, let's say on the auction house, your maximum is 100 gold again, and there's items that are posted for 1,000 gold, well, what do you want to do with it? So, TSM will allow you. You can post it at your normal price, you can not post it at all, or you can post it at the maximum price. So, yes, it'll be an item at 1,000 gold, and then your item will pop up at, whatever your 100 gold, if that's the maximum price for you. And finally, the normal price. So if there's nothing on the auction house, you're the lucky winner, you found a market that has no items posted, what do you want to post it at? So here often you're going to, try to post it a little bit higher than your regular prices, but a little bit under your maximum. This actually should be closer to the maximum price in this particular example. I don't know why it's not, but I usually try to make my normal price near my maximum, because if I think the item is valued at, whatever, 500% crafting in here, well, my normal price should be that. If there's none items up, I'll post it at this. So that is your auctioning tab. I'm telling you right now, this is really where you're going to be putting a lot of effort in. As you can see here, I have a list of operations under the auctioning tab. So how I've decided to separate these was I thought of the different types of items that I make and how do I want TSM to know how to post them. So here I separated by how I'm actually going to be using this operation. So these items will be posted for 48 hours. There will only be one of them posted, and are often crafting items. So I'm thinking of armor, items that are, you're not going to make much, you're not going to try to post much more than one. It's not really helpful. Here in the 48 hours 5x50, well, that's a market that's a little bit more, I'm thinking of herbs, ores, you want to post more of them. I sometimes post them in stacks of 50, and usually I'm going with the market value, and that's it. It's just really to maximize my gold, post them all at 48 hours, and that's it. This here could be like things 48 hours at 10 items, Stacks of one, DB market, I'm thinking more like shards, single items that sometimes, you want to post definitely more than one, but you don't want to, flood the market. Sometimes scrolls, but rarely scrolls. I don't see scrolls being posted at 10. Glyphs has their own, I usually name it glyphs because it has usually its own particular set, like, 24 hours, post of 2, and it has its own particular set of pricing rules. So as you can see, there's a lot of different ways you can do this. And this is the reason why it's really important to practice this and to try to really get a few operations going for yourself. The crafting tab is nothing more than just what you're going to be, if you look at it here, it's really just tells you, the rules that you're telling TSM to use to craft an item. So, I don't craft items that don't give me a minimum profit of 500 gold. Then I basically, I tell TSM don't craft it if it doesn't make this amount of gold. And if I believe this is going to be like armors and stuff. So then how you assign these, as a last thing, as you assign operations, is you go back to your groups, and anytime you highlight them, right away, you're going to have an operations tab right here. And very handily, TSM lists all of the different tabs. So auctioning, crafting, mailing, shopping, vendoring, warehousing, they're all here. And as you can tell, it's a simple matter of clicking the override and assigning whichever one that you want. So in this case, and just so you know, you can, yes, in this particular one you only have one, but you can, as you can tell, add different operation rules. So if you know that this particular group of items will be sold in different stack sizes at different pricings, well, go ahead and add as many operations to that particular group of items. So the alabaster pigment, which was the first group of herbs that we were going to go for, doesn't have many pricing models that I want anyways for me. I know there are some people who would have tons of pricing models. They'll sell them in stacks of 50, stacks of 20, stacks of 100. It's very useful things like if you want to do a wall of glyphs, you definitely want to have a bunch of operations that you're going to have. So that's the usefulness of having more than one operations. The other thing that you need to know about operations is that, as you can tell, there's different levels of groups. So you have your main group here, trade goods, herbs is sort of as this first subgroup, and then you have the whole list of the different other subgroups. Usually they'll have different colors. That's how you can identify that they're subgroups. Well, first of all, you need to know that any operations you assign to the main group, trade goods here, will automatically be given to herbs and this list of pigments, subgroups. So if you want these ones to have individual operations, you have to individually go into them and assign which one that you want to give them. Okay? So that's really important you note that you don't actually have to assign each one of these. All you have to do is assign trade goods its operations, if you want it, and it will automatically give it to all of these. Okay, everything underneath. And then herbs, as you can tell, herbs was the one that I decided to give the operations for. Automatically, what it did, was it gave all of these ones here automatically the same operation. So if I go in there, you'll see it's grayed out. It means that it's being given by the main group. So that's going to be it for today. We're going to, I think, already you have a lot of information related to your operations. I invite you to continue to listen to these videos. I will be posting more related to TSM. It's a big add-on, and definitely worth your time and effort to get to know. And if you want to continue to make a lot of gold. So have yourself a great day and keep coming back.